Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stoltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last several years, I've been focusing my attention on les filles du roi and les filles mariées, these inspirational, amazing women who really have helped define North America. And today we're going to be looking at a fille du roi and getting to know her story a little bit better. But before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three kind of keep you in the loop. We have subscribe, which is very, very important. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please consider subscribing. It's completely free. And like, if you like this video, you just click on that like button, and that helps kind of spread the news, if you will. And notify, of course, is just a convenient way of getting told when I post new video. New content is about two times a week. And here we go again, les filles du roi with a great big X on it, indicating she is not a fille du roi, although she has been at times classified as such. She is episode 291, Jeanne Bénard. I had to do this one, not the least of which she is a continuation of our episode Fille Mariée that we did just a couple days ago. We will now see the story of Pierre Gadois and what ends up happening with him. What we know of Jeanne is she is born in 1644 in Paris, France. We do know that her parents are René Bénard and Gabrielle Vitaille, but that is all we know. We don't know what parish or anything else. So let's get to know her a little bit better. What we know of Jeanne is that she arrived on the Noir d'Amsterdam, which was not part of the Filles du Roi ships, if you will. Yes, the Filles du Roi program had started by then, but she would arrive without a contract. She wasn't part of the regular Filles du Roi. She just happened to come to New France in the company of Jeanne Mance, and she was the only woman aboard that Noir d'Amsterdam. Very unusual. All the Filles du Roi beforehand always came in groups, and the fact that she came alone indicates that she probably did not have a contract signed, and this is what you would have signed, or a trousseau, or that sort of thing. She wasn't given any reward. She did not have that, that procedure, if you will. But her father had passed away, and she did come to New France, and it is estimated that she had a dowry worth about 200 pounds. So just because you come to New France during that time doesn't make you a fille du roi. The fille du roi really was a program, if you will, and she was not part of it. I'm going to repeat myself for those of you who did not see the other episode. Pierre Gadois, the groom that she would eventually select, was born in 1631 in Agen in Normandy region, the Normandy region, and inside of that, he is from the Orne département. His family, Pierre Gadois and Louise Moget, his parents, are among the earliest of pioneers in Montreal. And in fact, they would end up having the very first land grant given to him by Pierre de Chomedy de Maisonneuve. And this is the church Saint-Martin that he would have been baptized in. So let's have a look at his life. The Gadois family would arrive in New France sometime around 1636. Think about that. Oh. Pierre would become the first altar boy in Montreal, according to Marguerite Bourgeois. They did settle in Quebec City for a little while, and then they ended up, as I've stated, once Montreal was Montreal, they would be granted that first land grant. And Pierre would become a gunsmith, and he was trained as an armorer, which is a person who makes, repairs, and supplies weapons and armor. And so this was a very, very pioneer family. Let's review a little bit about Ville-Marie, this town that would become Montreal, the mighty Montreal. It was founded by Paul de Chomedy, Sœur de Maisonneuve, and was essentially a missionary center as of May of 1642. The colony did not thrive, and it was on the verge of extinction when Chomedy decided to return to France to recruit 100 settlers, who would be known as the Grand Recrues. From this small group would evolve the Notre Dame congregation, and all of the rest of it. We can see the church Notre Dame as it exists now on the upper left of your screen. The Next to it is an illustration of what it looked like in the 17th century. We have a beautiful skyline of Montreal. I love that skyline. And then, of course, Old Montreal, Vieux Montréal, is definitely something to behold and to experience. If you haven't, you must. And then I just have the illustration of the island of Montreal. And again, I in the previous episode, I talked about how growing up off the island, I did not even understand that it was an island because it was so connected with bridges and that sort of thing. So it's very, very, very important to understand the geography of Montreal and understand that it was an island, and that's why that was its greatest weakness, and it's ultimately its greatest strength. Pierre's first marriage was annulled, and I will put the link to that episode so you can see it was a pretty dramatic situation. And poor Pierre, that's all I could say when I was reading all this. He was a very strong man, and he would survive the drama that surrounded all of this. So please have a look at that episode if you haven't already. So Jeanne and Pierre would marry on April 20th, 1665 at Montreal. This would ultimately be I would say his greatest triumph, because he was ultimately able to create a new life. He worked as a gunsmith, a master gunsmith, and was a church warden. He was also part of the militia. He was truly, I would say, a founding father of Montreal, in addition to his own father, who was a very, very important pioneer as well. But he certainly was and contributed a great deal. Pierre and Jeanne would go on to have 14 children. Now, those of you who have been following the story know that in his first marriage, he was basically cursed as being someone who could not have children. And ultimately, he proved them wrong. We have Jeanne Françoise, who married Antoine Attenville, but did not have any children. We have Louis, who passed away at 3 years of age. We have Jean-Baptiste, that we have no further information on. Louise passed away at 16. Madeleine Thérèse married Henri Gilles Le Fournier and had 2 children, both of whom made it to adulthood. We have Antoine, who died at birth. Pierre, who died at 12 years of age. Marguerite, who did not marry. Marie-Catherine, who passed away in infancy. Marie-Catherine, who also passed away in infancy. Antoine Augustin, we have no further information. Henri, no further information. Pierre passed away in infancy. And finally, Jacques married Marie-Madeleine Chorel and would have 11 children, 4 of whom made it to adulthood. Those of you who this is your ancestry, if on some of these in terms of, their descendants and that sort of thing, please let me know. It's unusual to have this many with no information. And so, like I said, I always got to get concerned. So let me know in the comments below if you have any further information about this family. In the 1681 census, we have Pierre and we have Jeanne. His children are Jeanne, Jean, Louise, Thérèse, Pierre, Marguerite. So you can see this is a robust family. And then we have 2 guns, 5 bêtes à cordes, so 5 goats or deer or any kind of animal with horns. And then we have 30 alpha valeur, about 26 acres of land. Pierre would die at the remarkable age of 83 in 1714. He and Jeanne had been married 50 years. Jeanne herself would pass away 10 years later at age 82 in 1724, and she would leave us with 47 descendants. Now, the fact of the matter is that Jeanne, even though she's not a fille du roi, she is truly a woman of substance, because she took on Pierre and his story and ultimately was able to create a life for them. And so I think that it is remarkable, because obviously to have had the annulment and all of that would have been a remarkable, I wouldn't say a scarlet letter, but certainly she probably had other men that she might have been able to married, but she chose Pierre and he chose her. And I'm sure their descendants are very happy they did. So that is the conclusion of Pierre Gadois' story, and I was so gratified when I continued to study it and see, he was truly a victim of a terrible, terrible thing, and that first marriage was, I would say, probably very traumatic for him, and I'm just very, very glad that he got to have a happy ending. Further research into Ville-Marie and Montreal, Les Filles du Roi, Pionnières de Montréal, is available in French, and we have The Women of Ville-Marie in English by Susan McNally. I have posted the links for you in case you want to have a look at those. And I must tell you, The Women of Ville-Marie, I consider it one of my truly great, great books when I need to kind of immerse myself in the history of it all. Please have a look at that if you can, and you may be able to get it from your library as well. Well, to say that I enjoyed doing this one, definitely enjoyed Jeanne and her story. It was a continuation of my Fille Mariée of the previous episode. I've not had something like this occur, so it was really neat to be able to see her contribution and her coming into the story. She truly was a special lady to have chosen Pierre and to have withstood what she, obviously getting married to a man who had an annulment was viewed as something perhaps not as great as a regular guy or a widower. So, and also the fact that he had been seen as being sterile. She had a lot to prove, and she did, 14 children later. And we are very, very grateful to Jeanne for coming and for making certain that she continued the story of the Gadois family and that they would continue to multiply. So thank you to Jeanne and her husband Pierre for continuing the story. We are grateful that Jeanne came to our shores and that she definitely continued the legacy. Thank you so much. And thank you to my patrons, supporters, and subscribers. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, I will see you on the next episode of Les Filles du Roi. Until then, au revoir.